These people are starving for some kind of philosophy that addresses their issues, and Hinduism is that religion everywhere, for sure.
I know in general, back to the Omar Muzaffar for my second episode, he was like, this generation is looking for something, some higher understanding, something to latch onto. I think the over exemplification, like the stimulus, the constant stimulus that this generation has that the previous ones didn't, it's become highly overwhelming, and it's hard to deal with.
Because every
Without some
generation's
kind of
been looking
understanding.
for that, and they look different places to find that kind of peace. In the 1800s, late 1800s, Swami Vivekananda comes to America. At that time, you had waves of various religious movements in America. You had the whole, I think it's the temperance movement, where they subscribed to abstaining from alcohol. That was a huge thing that went through. The harbinger for prohibition eventually, which was a failed failed policy that was there for a short time in the country. So they went through these various waves of tackling materialism and everything. Late 1800s, Swami Vivekananda comes, gives this logic of Vedanta in a very basic way. Early on, people lost their minds. They were like, what is this? This is amazing. This is what we've been looking for this whole time. Puja Gurudev comes to America in the 60s, and that's the midst of the counterculture. And there's a question and answer session that happens, I think, in San Francisco, where they say, okay, what about psychedelic drugs? Doesn't that tame the mind? And that's a way to spirituality. Gurudev says, look, that alters the mind, doesn't tame the mind, it alters the mind. These meditative processes that I'm talking to you about, you can get to where you want to be without drugs. Don't have to go into LSD and all of that. So the point being that generations in their quest for this kind of peace will go anywhere to try to find it. It's the role of these spiritual giants of our time. Gurudev in our recent past, Swami Vivekananda in our more remote past, I'm talking about for this country in America, that they provide that path forward. Very thankful that they did.
Okay. So just like PTSD and depression, the concept was always there. Now we have a label.
Humans are humans, man. 10 fingers, 10 toes. We've had that for since the beginning of time. Our mental makeup also does not change all that much,
People are always the same. People don't change.
Yeah.
But
and we want to think in the modern world we're so open and we're so for a different time and everything. Human nature is human nature.
Can't be changed over generations.
Different outlooks and mindsets can be changed. Generational trauma can be resolved or accelerated. Those can be done. But at the very end, why I seek happiness, what I seek happiness in, what are the pitfalls in that quest for happiness, that's been the same from the beginning of time. That's why we say our dharma is sanatana dharma, eternal. It's not addressing people from one time period or from one walk of life. This answers this age-old human conundrum of seeking happiness that's true for all humans from all times.
Why is nature of humans to seek happiness?
Simply because we are action-oriented. Any action you do is for some kind of happiness, no matter what it is. Now there's a bifurcation of that we find in our scriptures. One is called dukkha nivritti, the other is called sukha prapti. Dukkha nivritti is that cessation of sorrow, getting out of discomfort, coming away from some kind of challenge. Sukha prapti is that active seeking of happiness. And we say, okay, it's the same thing. Going from sorrow to happiness or seeking that happiness, you're at that same baseline. There's a difference, though. Classic example, Swami Sarveshananji gives this example. My guru. It's a beautiful example. He says it's like you enter a class, but right before you enter the class, you're thirsty. You down a whole bottle of water. Now, you have to use the bathroom during the class, and you can't get up. So you somehow wait through that hour and a half, rush to the bathroom, and you come out. What does your face look like when you come out of that bathroom? Relief. That is the greatest feeling. At that moment, there is no greater feeling in the world than relieving yourself there. Now, that's not sukha prapti, actively seeking happiness. Dukkha nivritti. You averted sorrow. You averted disaster and embarrassment, no matter how close it was. You averted that and avoided it. Therefore, that is that cessation of sorrow. We can't call that happiness that's sought, simply cessation of sorrow. There's that difference right there.